If you've never been part of a cult, you'll probably find this hard to understand. Why would I hand over control of so many aspects of my life to a group of people? What right do they have to tell me who I should have sex with or shouldn't? And what right do they have to disallow a blood transfusion that could save my life or the life of my child? But these are things that people willingly do when they're a part of a cult. How is that possible? Here's an explanation I want to propose to consider. Did you know that there are beings in the world, not humans, and living entities that allow other living entities to tell them when they should die and when they should multiply? Those entities exist in our bodies, and they're called cells. The cells of our body hand over control to the body as a whole, as part of becoming part of it. I mean, you might say, well, they're not becoming part of it. They grow up as being part of a body. But the same can be said for people who grew up in a cult as children, people like me. And eventually, when I left the cult, it was interesting what happened. I stopped believing, and basically from one day to the next, all the power that the elders and all the higher-ups seemed to have over me disappeared. They just became normal people, and if they had some opinion about how I should live my life, that had no influence on me whatsoever. And so the only means they still had available to try to control me was the fact that my family was still part of the cult, and that they have a rule about forbidding them contact with anyone who leaves the cult. Is that a drastic measure? Yes. It's hugely torturous to go through that experience. Because we are human beings, we care about people close to us. I had barely any contacts outside of a cult because they told you that you're not supposed to, and so being a part of them also means following those rules. And so when you leave the J-Dubs, the Jehovah's Witnesses, you're on your own completely. You're not just starting the journey of taking control of your own life, taking responsibility for your own choices. You also start from scratch, from zero. And I don't know if there are any beings in the world that can relate to that experience, but I think maybe cancer cells might be able to relate to that, because they're also, from one day to the next, when they stop listening to the signals of the body, they stop listening to the signal that tells them to die or to multiply. They're on their own, looking for nutrients, looking for blood vessels, and the body doesn't really help them that much anymore. I mean, they can sort of blend in, and that's the tricky thing with cancer, right? That it can sort of still blend in, and it doesn't get recognized by the immune system. Cults are actually often better at that, even though there is a thing that some people try to do when instead of leaving like officially, they fade. They just sort of disappear from other people's awareness, and that's how they try to evade the immune system that's built into a cult. But all these mechanisms are basically the same in bodies and in these bigger selves that cults implement. It's all the same mechanisms. And so that's why my proposal that I'm suggesting in this video is we shouldn't be surprised that these things exist. Because if cells in the body can do it, if bodies do it, every day, if that's the basis for our own existence, why shouldn't it be possible that collectives of human beings enter the same kind of arrangement? It might be a natural phenomenon. I think it is.